Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, I'm Bryan Eisenberg. Welcome to Rock Solid. I'm here today with Van Baker from Pink Zebra Moving, which I heard is obviously a franchise. And the interesting part of the story is not that it's a franchise, not that it's and you're operating here in town, but that you started in data center finance and got into moving. So that's kind of the story I want to explore today as kind of that journey of, you started as an accountant, you didn't want to go your CPA, and then you wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I want to kind of, what was that moment that made you decide, hey, I need to do this on my own?
Yeah, so honestly, even as a teenager, I remember wanting to do entrepreneurship. I remember reading, all the stereotypical books, the cliche, the Robert Kiyosaki and stuff. And I remember always wanting to be an entrepreneur and just thinking that'd be the coolest thing. And then I got pulled into the trap of just go to school and then go back to school after working a little bit and get the corporate job. And then, it was so comfortable that it just kind of was easy to stay there until 2024. I was at Google, as we talked about, and was impacted by a round of layoffs in the finance organization and started applying to other finance jobs and thought, I am not excited about this. Like, let me look at some other options and see what else I can do. So that was when I started looking at businesses and franchises, kind of weighing options between starting my own thing, going the franchise route, and spent about probably 8 months or so on just really looking at all different options, and then kind of decided on Pink Zebra and franchises.
So why Pink Zebra and why moving?
So I think the short answer is probably goes back to like the Simon Sinek, like start with the why.
Okay.
So I remember early on I was like thinking about what do I want to do? What would kind of fill my cup? Corporate life was like, it didn't fill my cup. It was,
Understood.
It's a great paycheck and it is comfortable, easy to stay there, but I didn't feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So starting with that question, I really thought, like, I love providing value to people, like true value. Like, I love providing a service and people are like, wow, that exceeded my expectations. So I started really looking at home service franchises and businesses because I felt like I can really do that. Then when I started looking at it, there's a ton of, I probably looked at 20 different franchises and business types.
Well, you're an MBA, so yeah.
Roofing, garage flooring, pavement striping, HVAC. There's just so many out there. The dog poop cleanup is one that is kind of popular in the last couple of years. So I looked at a ton of different ones. A lot of them are just a little more technical, and I thought, if I truly want to have a service that I'm proud of, that I can stand behind, I probably want something that's not quite as technical, something that I could learn myself in a few months, something I wouldn't have to rely so much on my trained employees. And obviously HVAC, electrical, all that would take me a few years to really get good at. So moving, I thought this is more simple. Another thing I really liked about moving is like it's kind of a more intimate home service where you're not there to just perform this one, fix the condenser on the air conditioner or whatever. Like you're there kind of hanging out with them for a few hours. Like you're bumping into them the whole time. You're asking, are we moving this? Do you want this wrapped this way? You're interacting with them most of the time. And so I thought that would be a great opportunity to kind of ease people's stress, really deliver this high value, friendly service where we can exceed their expectations, and it's not just as much transactional. They're letting you into their home. They're letting you handle and move all of the belongings they've worked their life to acquire, and trusting you with all that, and really trusting you to deliver what you say, especially on the final bill. Moving companies are kind of notorious for taking advantage, adding extra fees. The final bill is always higher.
I could share stories, but we're not here to poop on moving companies today.
Yeah,
I'm really curious because obviously you've got the pink sneakers on here. I've known lots of Googlers in my life. Those Googlers who worked in finance with you, what do you think they would say about this today?
Oh, that's a good. Actually, I went back to Google with a friend and had lunch there because they have the free cafes and everything.
Yeah.
And they just opened the new building downtown, the sale building, and employees just moved in 2 or 3 months ago. And so I went down to check it out with one of my friends that works there still, and had lunch there and ran into quite a few people that I worked with. And it was great. I mean, to be honest, like I'm so much happier doing this. Like, so it was great. It was fine. It was good to catch up with them, and I think they're excited and happy for me that I'm doing well and everything.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
There are lots of moving companies. Why did you decide on Pink Zebra? Like, why not also like start your own? But what was it that attracted you to Pink Zebra that was so different than just a standard moving company?
Yeah, great question. Because when I started looking at all of these other home service type franchises, companies, services, I thought it really comes down to lead generation and kind of average ticket. I think those two things, obviously profitability is part of that, but lead generation was the biggest thing that kind of I thought about for a lot of these businesses. And when I was looking through lots of these different franchise, their annual reports that they have to file that has all the information.
Yeah, the self-disclosure documents and all that. Yep.
The FDD, franchise disclosure doc. So looking through all those, like I was kind of thinking, what differentiates each of these franchises on the lead generation side? The very first time I saw Pink Zebra moving as a brand, it just stuck out to me. They have the big pink stripe, like our trucks have big pink stripes all over the side. My car, I've got a Tesla that's wrapped in pink stripes, and then just the pink color kind of stands out. And I think it just catches your attention just that little bit more than, strong guy, muscle mover of Austin.
College hunks, whatever. Yeah.
Like it just stands out a little bit more. Also, what we found is like, in a lot of cases, the female in the relationship is usually the one contacting moving companies, maybe 60% of the time. So maybe that branding appeals a little bit more to that demographic. But it's, mostly just standing out a little bit. Plus, like, I guess I want the attention a little bit. When I was saying I want to deliver value to people, I want to stand out. I want to be exceptional. And I think that just gets a little more attention that way. I'll say one more thing on that, just to tie it up. Sorry. But also when I went to the corporate team, they're located in Birmingham, Alabama, and when I talked to them at Discovery Day for the franchise and met them, I was very impressed with their approach to customer. They say experience. That we don't say customer service, we say customer experience. Because everyone talks about customer service at every single franchise I talk to. It's a focus, we have to deliver. But this was like, when I talked to them, it was so much more like, no, we are a customer experience company that moves people's stuff. Like everything we do is to deliver a premium customer experience at an amazing value. And like we will send them DoorDash gift cards the night before to help them plan meals during the move. We try to have a kind of a thank you box at the end of the move that has more personalized stuff inside. We try to play their music during every move. Music is amazing.
Because I was going to ask, because the website talks about making moving fun, and I was curious, like what were some of those elements? And it sounds like you're dabbling in that right now.
Yes, exactly. Those are definitely key elements of making it fun. And then I guess all the boring stuff that still reduces the level of stress for your move, which makes it fun, which is just over communicating on every single point of the transaction. When they first call me on the phone, I'm doing 100% of our sales right now. When they first call me, like I just try to be overly friendly, overly communicative on the entire process of moving. I tell them all about the very difficult process of comparing moving quotes.
Yep.
We could talk for a while about that, but I go into exactly here's how we do it. I try to keep my pricing extremely simple and easy to understand for customers. And then the final bill is usually lower than the estimate I give them, but it's going to be somewhere close. And there's no surprises because that's not fun.
I want to, just a simple question before I dive into the other one, but from a moving perspective, are you just doing local, or are you also doing, like you can move people around the country?
So yeah, we can move people around the country. We have all of the licenses for interstate transportation. We haven't done any yet, just because honestly, it is pretty pricey to have just one private company, dedicated truck, dedicated team move across the country.
But you can do it. That's what I was curious.
Can. Yeah.
So, they say that the biggest stressors in life are losing a spouse, divorce, and then number 3 is move. Yeah. And we've got someone here in the studio who's about to move to Nashville. Okay, he got a new job there. We're excited for him and all of that, and he's getting ready to move himself. Okay, with his spouse. What tips do you have for him to make that move as seamless as possible? Because we don't want him that stressed.
Whew, I got a lot to say. I'd be happy. I would love to talk to him and kind of share tips. Because honestly, I'm not the target demographic for moving. I have never paid for a mover before. Right,
because you came from Atlanta and Google moved you here.
They moved me here, but I just I took the check and I did it all myself, which was another reason why I thought I could start a moving. I've moved myself. We've moved a lot actually over the years. I've probably moved us 5 times or so at different sizes during our during each move. But the last one was pretty big, and I loaded a huge truck. I think for anyone moving, you want to think about a couple things. The number one tip I tell everyone: don't buy any supplies at Home Depot or Lowe's. They're just too expensive. There's dedicated moving supply stores around nationally, but here in Round Rock, there's one called Texan Box. I'll give them a shout out.
There we go.
And they're definitely cheaper than Home Depot and Lowe's, even for members of the public. So get your moving supplies, boxes and stuff there. If you want to go even more scrappy, you can do the dumpster diving thing. Get some boxes from behind TJ Maxx or whatever, and that could save you some money. And then it's tricky because
he's moving like a small apartment. It's not a big. It's not a big move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you just want to obviously be careful. There's a lot of technique. There's lots of YouTubes out there on like stacking a truck and securing the load. I think for most people that are doing it themselves, that's probably the biggest mistake they make is like not securing things properly. They just stack it in the truck and then think, well, it's stable now. But then you start driving down the road, you hit the brakes.
You just start hearing stuff in the back.
Yeah, and stuff falls down, and a leg on a table breaks. And there's been, most of the time, we'll do just loading and labor services for people. And so we get a lot of people calling, can you just help me unload a U-Haul? Almost every time we open it up, stuff is falling and stuff is broken. But so that would probably be the number one tip.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one to know. Now, you, like I said, you've been around a bit. You were in Atlanta here, and Google brought you here. What made you stay in this area?
We love it. So yeah, I've got my wife Lauren, and then we have an 8-year-old and 4-year-old, 2 daughters, and it's been great. I mean, all the parks around, schools are fantastic. We live in Pflugerville. We've just had a great time. Good food. I mean, it's been fun. We've made a lot of friends here, and so honestly, yeah, we didn't even think about really relocating much. We wanted to find something here and stay here.
Oh, that's great. Where do you see the business going, a few years from now? Because I know, obviously, with your background, you have some real projections, and obviously some feedback from the franchise. What do you see yourself navigating over the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably naive, over-optimistic, all of those things.
That's the nature of an entrepreneur, by the way.
You have to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be. But I think we can dominate the market if we want to. I've already seen it. I mean, we opened in August last year. We are at like 160 Google reviews, 5-star reviews.
Awesome.
Only in that short time span. Our biggest revenue months have been January, and then now February will surpass January, which are typically the slowest moving months of the year.
Yep.
But more revenue dollars came from referrals and word of mouth than from any other lead source, from like Google ads, and we do different direct mail type stuff. But which I was completely dependent on all that the first few months. But even at month 5 and 6, we are getting more business from referrals and word of mouth, which is incredible to me. So I think we will just continue to grow. Every single move that we deliver, this amazing 5-star move, people are just going to tell friends, family, every person that asks about it. We've had a lot more repeat business than I thought was even in the moving industry, because people. Actually, we've moved the same apartment that within a few months.
Yeah.
People just want a different place quickly, and then otherwise there's been a lot of just even move a refrigerator for me, and because we did a move before, and so a lot of repeat business too. So it's been, I think we're really found something where once people know they trust you, and you provide amazing value, like, because there are great movers in Austin. I can shout out plenty of great. I've gone and met owners.
I can also tell you of movers in the area that are really well known that had an employee steal checks from my brother, and they still haven't resolved it possibly. And this is years going on. Yeah, it was.
That's tough.
And everybody knows them in town, but let's just put it that way.
And they're very expensive. If like any of the great movers are going to be $100 plus per mover per hour. Mm-hmm. I mean, easily it's $300 an hour. They're very upfront with you. Most of the time, they deliver a great service. I have employees from multiple other moving companies, but they're very expensive. So I truly feel like I am the best value that you can get for a premium move experience in Austin.
Well, that's awesome to hear, because like I said, people don't realize, and I've moved a few times. I moved, when I lived in Brooklyn multiple times, and I had a great moving company I work with, and once I moved here, I was like, I don't have these guys anymore. And when my
was it piece of cake?
No. They were literally a group small operation, a group of Russian gentlemen who owned it, and they'd send you 3 guys in the truck, and I've never seen anybody move as fast as these guys did. I mean, they were just knocking things out, breaking furniture apart, putting it back to they were amazing. They moved us probably 4 times, and I recommended them to a bunch of people because, again, it was affordable, but they did an amazing job. Never had anything break. And then I hired a bigger mover when I moved from New York here, and we had a bunch of nightmares with that. And then my brother has moved here a couple times. We've moved here 3 times, and like I said, he's had a couple of negative experiences. To find someone who does really good work and who cares and who's passionate about it, you don't realize how important that is unless you've done a move and you've had such a negative experience. I kind of want to take you in a different direction, which is more about, again, because of your background, both in finance and your MBA, and choosing a franchise, because there's a lot of people who are in the community who either are thinking about a franchise or maybe they started a franchise. What were some of the things that you considered that were really important in that decision to choose that franchise?
Fantastic question, because going through that process, almost everyone I talked to that didn't have a business background was like, why would you go with a franchise? You're going to have to pay them royalties. You got to pay them the territory and franchise fees.
I can tell you why my wife and I chose a place at home as a franchise for a home care agency, and she's been in the industry for 40 years. You want to know why? I want to stay married. Even though I've worked with all kinds of businesses for 30 plus years, franchise gives you some of that system. And that was the decision for us. But I'm curious from your perspective.
100%. So I will say Pink Zebra Moving is a much newer franchise. They've only been franchising 2.5 years. But to me, that was attractive because it kind of provided a little hybrid.
You're closer to it,
They're still not like the dialed-in McDonald's, here just turnkey, hire a manager, and that's it. Like I knew I would have to be involved heavily on a daily basis, but that's what I kind of
And that's what you wanted,
But what really attracted me to the franchise, even before I talked to Pink Zebra, other franchises, is just talking to the other franchisees in the network. I knew I would have that support. And these other owners at Pink Zebra, Pink Zebra's about 21 owners, I think, in the U.S. right now. Talking to them before I joined and now after I joined, I text or call one of them at least 3 or 4 times a week, at least. And it is amazing to have people that are going through the exact same thing that you're going through and to get advice and feedback.
It's funny you mentioned that because during our process as well, my friend Joel Ababa, he's called the Franchise King. And he puts out a book about how to choose franchise and stuff like that. And the number one thing that I took from his book, because again, I have a lot of business experience, was how many owners did you speak to ahead of time? And most franchise owners, the franchise will give you 2 or 3, very selective.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be speaking to 5 to 10 at least.
Easily.
At least.
That was 100% my approach. I even I pushed the guy who is sales for the franchise. I told him, I got to get the numbers of the people who've closed their offices because Pink Zebra's had a few closures.
Yep.
And so I got numbers there. I called them. I talked to them. I flew out to Indianapolis to visit that office. And then I was close by to Cincinnati. I visited that office in person to just kind of get a feel for the day-to-day and meet the owners there. And then talk to probably half a dozen more on the phone.
So after meeting these owners who failed, what made the decision for you that, nope, even though they failed, I can make it work?
Good question. Think about how to phrase this.
You don't have to be polite. They're not listening to it. So.
Yeah, that's true. No, because I genuinely respect everyone and their experience, and everyone has
and everyone tries.
But I don't know. I think again, not to say. I think it's easy to make excuses. I'll just say that, and I know I'm the type of person that I am never going to blame anything on anyone else. It is going to be 100% me, whether it's the success or the fail. I will never blame it on anything
you're
else.
I'm
not going to blame it on the market conditions. I'm not going to blame it on anything else. I'm going to either figure it out. I'm going to work hard enough to figure it out, or I can't do it. So I
think that's an amazing attitude. No, I think that's it. We can come up with all kinds of little nitty things, but owning it, and obviously taking that into a moving company when you're helping and trying to provide superior customer experience, that's the magic. You're going to own it.
Yeah, and I think it makes a huge. You have to approach it that way, especially in these highly competitive industries that are low barrier to entry. I think you kind of have to, because there could be so many excuses out there of, well, the franchise didn't help me in this way. Oh, the market's tough. Oh, these customers aren't great. Blah 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 blah. But
so, if anybody has any questions, maybe have some questions about franchising or the moving business, or want to get in touch with you about a move here, what's the best way to find you?
So you could just Google us, Pink Zebra Moving Round Rock, and find our business location, hours, the phone number that'll go direct to me at this point until I hire a salesperson in a few months. We're ramping up so quickly; it might be sooner than I thought. But for now, I'm answering every phone call, and then we've got an Instagram, Pink Zebra Moving of Round Rock. I've been really trying to figure out the whole content game. It's actually kind of fun too. I like creating stuff, but yeah, those are probably the best two for now.
And is there a Round Rock Solid special for people who are listening if they need to move?
Ooh,
we don't know.
Yeah, 5%. Off the top, I'll do 5%. Anyone that mentions Round Rock Podcast, for sure.
The Rock Solid Podcast.
For sure.
Awesome. Van, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. It was great.